everybody. What's up? It's Thursday. And I'm home. That's it. Thanks for tuning in. Now, what's going on, everybody? What is up? I am officially back from the long adventure we started in April. If y'all can hear me, y'all go ahead and let me know that y'all can hear me. If you got an echo, let me know if there's an echo. We can mix and mess around with the audio equipment. It's the first time I'm going live since the Salloway on the Sun Princess. And it's the first time I'm going live since the 4th of April at home. So the audio might be a little off. Who knows? We'll find out. It's that type of night. We'll just make it happen. We'll make it happen, Captain. That's it. I'm home. The trip is over. Everything is a wrap. Will G says a little echo. How is that, Will? Is that better? Is that better? But we got Scott McNeil. Y'all already know Scott's the first one in the chat. Followed by Julie, Robin, Will G. I hope everyone's having a fantastic night. I am literally reflecting on this past 28-day adventure. It's kind of crazy, right, to think that I was on a 28-day adventure. It went by pretty quick. I'm not going to lie. You can ask some other people. They'll probably tell you it dragged and it went slow. But for me, it went by pretty fast. I know for Chuck, it went by pretty quick. It went by pretty quick for a lot of us. So I don't know how to really process those feelings, right? Because I'm kind of sad that I'm not on a ship still. But I'm kind of glad that I'm home. I get to spend the time with my kids. I get to see my kids. I got my kids off the bus today. They were super excited. So I got to have that little special moment there. It's nice to be home. It's nice to spend the time with the kids. But let's just get the bad news out of the way, right? Like before I left, my car broke down. Had it towed to the shop, had it fixed. I get home today, go to start my car, and my car won't start. So I had to get it towed to the shop to get fixed yet again. I pulled the battery. I did all that fun stuff. It's not the battery. So hopefully we'll figure out what it is come tomorrow. But it's just another thing to add to the list of craziness that has been going on. This epic adventure started on the 5th of April and it ended on the 2nd of May. 3 days shy of a month. Chuck Spencer in the chat. Scott is home. ... Ooh, excuse me. I pulled a Marsha. Cheryl in the house. Welcome back. Thank you. Chuck is currently on his way to Georgia. You going to make it all the way, bro, or are you going to stop and get yourself a hotel? So we got off the Glory this morning in Port Canaveral. We made it back to the Spring Hill area around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Went and did lunch with Tony and Jenny B. And then Chuck and Scott started their venture back. So Scott's already back in Panama City, and Chuck is on his way to Georgia now. It's been an epic adventure, right? So me and Chuck started this whole adventure back on the 5th of April, and it ended today. And when we were leaving and saying our goodbyes to each other, I was like, man, it's been a hell of a ride. 28 days. It's been epic. Let's do it again. So it ended there. Deb Bird, first time in your live chat. Thanks for being here, Deb. I appreciate it. I think I can make it 3 more hours. That's good, man. If not, make sure you pull over, grab yourself a hotel room or a little nap in the car. Make sure you're safe. Make sure you are safe, my brother. But yeah, it was an epic adventure, to say the least. It's definitely the longest away that I have been. And I know it's the longest away that Chuck has been. But it was well worth it. That we learned a lot in the process. We learned a lot about not just everywhere we went, but we also learned a little bit more about each other. So it was actually pretty cool to be able to travel like that and to get that long time away. It did feel weird. Like, I'm not going to lie. I think like day 3 or day 4, I was like, man, I miss my kids. My kids should be on this crazy epic adventure with me. But unfortunately, they weren't. They're definitely going to be getting on an adventure real soon. That's for sure. I got to make sure I get them on a cruise ship real soon. But it was a great trip, nonetheless, to say the least. Like, I'm just smitten with how much great stuff we seen, how much epic stuff we seen, how much epic food we ate, all the different things we did, how much cheese we smuggled back into a suitcase. It was all a great adventure, all in good fun, and I wouldn't have wanted to do it with a better group of people than who I did it with. Um, so it all started, right? It started April 5th. Let's just do the whole rundown. It started April 5th. We took the high-speed robbery train from Orlando to Miami, and then we flew from Miami to Lisbon, Portugal. We got a lounge in Lisbon, Portugal. I got a shower. Best feeling ever after getting off of a 9-hour flight is getting a shower. I am not going to lie. And then we flew from Lisbon, Portugal to Rome, and we hit the pavement running from the time we landed in Rome to the time we departed Rome on the Sun Princess. We were literally pounding the pavement all seconds of the day, all hours of the day, all minutes of the day. We were literally out and about throughout the whole city of Rome. I must have put, within 2 days, probably 10 miles on Chuck's feet. And it was epic. It was awesome, right? So we're in Rome. We go to the hotel, we check in, we grab some espresso, we start the day, we head out to the Vatican for the Vatican tour. That was awesome. We grabbed great dinner on the way back to the hotel. We got some sleep, got up in the morning, went over to the Vatican again, went for the blessing by the Pope. I got my grandmom her rosary beads. That was awesome. I got my mom a pair. I got myself a pair. So we did all that. We found great dinner that night. And then we got up the next morning and Mike went, and the first thing he did was bought all this cheese. And then I came back and I filled it all into the suitcase, and we head out in the shuttle on our way to the Sun Princess. So the flight didn't kill Chuck. Chuck did pretty good on the flight. Scott had to run the Taco Bell. So he's home now, but he'll probably be in the bathroom in a little bit. Taco Bell definitely does that to you. Controversial cruising in the house. What's going on, Scott? Cameron Hawkins in the house. What's going on? Cameron sent me a message. She's like, bro, you can't go live at 10 o'clock. Comedy opens at 10. The doors open at 10 and comedy starts at 10:30. I'm not on the ship anymore, man. Cameron's lucky. Cameron's still on for another 4 days. So he gets to enjoy the glory for another 4 days. But that's it, right? So we board the Sun Princess. And let me tell you, that's a beautiful ship. If you have any inkling on wanting to do a princess cruise and you don't know what ship to do, I highly recommend the Sun Princess. Out of the Mediterranean, preferably. I just loved it over there. It was absolutely epic. But it is coming over to Fort Lauderdale this year. So later on this year, you can get on the Sun Princess within the States. Absolutely beautiful ship, gorgeous venues, amazing food venues, amazing shows. Spellbound was absolutely mind-blowing. It was a great experience to do Spellbound. But it was a wonderful ship. All the ports that we went to were amazing. Even though we did get diverted a little bit, we were supposed to go to Qatar, Montenegro. We ended up going to Bar, Montenegro. It was pretty epic. It was the first time a princess ship ever ported on Bar, Montenegro, and it is the first time a passenger vessel of that size has ever entered into the port of Bar, Montenegro. So that was pretty cool. When we set sail that night, the locals, the townspeople, they all came out to the dock. They were all crowded the docks to watch the ship sail away. So that was pretty epic. That was a nice, awesome experience. Greece was just absolutely wonderful. It's everything you would ever think it would be. The people, the food, everything. It was just an awesome experience. So let's talk a little bit about the Sun Princess and how the casino robbed me and didn't give me no money. No, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the Sun Princess, right? We'll talk about the Sun Princess a little bit. I can tell you I didn't see the buffet until 2 days before the cruise was over. The food venues were absolutely epic. So you had pizza by the slice on the Lido. You also had build your own nachos, build your own tacos, as well as shawarma. So you could get gyros right there on the Lido. You could get burgers. You could get dogs. You could get a curry dog, which was absolutely one of my favorite things to get. Coffee right on the Lido. All of that stuff was right there on the Lido deck of the Sun Princess. Phenomenal. The American Diner, that food was great. They had awesome Americanized style food. So that food was awesome. The food at Spellbound was pretty cool. The only thing I didn't like about the food at Spellbound was it was a set menu and you only got to choose your entree. So it was either a salmon dish, a prime rib dish, or an eggplant dish. So it wasn't the best options in my opinion for that, but the other stuff was pretty cool. The way they served the food was pretty cool. Just the dishes and all of that stuff that came out, the presentation of the dishes was absolutely pretty. One of the coolest things I've ever seen was shrimp served on a molded hand. So it's something I've never seen before. I thought it was fascinating. It was just another thing to add to that experience. Now, I will tell you this, if you do choose to do Spellbound on the Sun Princess, it is a little pricey, but let me tell you, it is not dinner and a show. So please don't go into it thinking it's dinner and a show. It is 100% a full mind-blowing experience. I'm not going to give all the details because that's the thrill of it, right? It's produced by Magic Castle on board the Sun Princess. It's absolutely a wonderful thing to do. So splurge a little bit, give yourself that treat, sit back, relax, and have yourself a good night. Kim Tucker in the house. What's going on, Kim? She's another one that's on the ship for another 4 days. Cameron didn't see the rocket launch. That's wrong, bro. You should have watched the rocket launch. But Spellbound's absolutely awesome. So if you have the time, you have the money, I suggest dumping the coin. It was well worth it, in my opinion. I know a bunch of other people that have done it, and they've all said the same thing. It is well worth it. It's worth the money. Just do it, and you won't regret it. So Spellbound was awesome. The food there was awesome. All the food on the Lido was awesome. I love the medallion technology. That is one of the best things ever put on a cruise ship. Okay. When I walk up to the coffee bar and they're like, "Hey, Mr. Mike, another cappuccino," and I'm 25 feet away, I'm all about it. I think I drank more coffee on that cruise than I have any other cruise in my life. But when in Rome, right? So it was absolutely epic from start to finish on the Sun Princess. Some venues were still closed, like Park 19, that was still closed. They were still waiting on approval and all of that stuff for that to open. But the dome was open. Everything else was open. They had some awesome music performers on the ship. Me and Chuck sat there a couple times and watched the band go off. It was a great trip. It was a great ship. The food was awesome. The service was awesome. Again, it's one of the main reasons on why I love Princess. They absolutely brought it with that ship. And I can't wait for the Star Princess to come out next year. And I really can't wait for the Sun Princess to get over into Fort Lauderdale out of the States so I can board it again before the Sun Princess even comes out. Ocean, the ocean in the house. What's going on, Bruce and Cindy? I hope you are having a fantastic evening over there on the West Coast. So we went to Mykonos, Greece, Santorini, Greece, Bar, Montenegro, and then to Corfu, Greece. What my favorite port? How would I forget that? So let's talk about those port stops. I can tell you I loved Mykonos more than I liked Santorini, but that's only because Santorini was like this everywhere you went. It was horrible. It was a lot of walking uphill, a lot of cobblestones. Now, the reason it was horrible for me was because the day before I rolled my ankle in Mykonos, and my ankle blew up like 2 times the size of what it should have been. I went down to medical. All was good. I got a brace put on. So I was able to walk around a lot or a little bit, but in Santorini, everything's uphill and it's all cobblestone. So it's a lot harder to walk up in the hills of Santorini than it is to walk in any of the other port stops we went to. But the reason Mykonos, out of Santorini, Mykonos was my favorite was because of the water. Just everywhere you went, you had that whitewashed Greece home that you see on those postcards or the videos or all of that. The blue dome churches, the crystal clear water at every gaze. The lighthouse was epic. The shots from up there were great. I can't wait to start pumping out this content. And I wanted to put out some of it while I was on the ship. And I never did because I lived in the moment a little too much on the cruise. I feel I feel like I lived in the moment a little too much on the cruise, but that's what I was supposed to do, right? I was supposed to go and live in the moment as well as produce content. I got some epic videos that are going to be dropping from over in Greece, but Mykonos, hands down, out of the two is my favorite. But out of every port that we've went to on that Mediterranean cruise on Sun Princess, Corfu, Greece stole my heart. Corfu, Greece is a place that I will forever remember. It is definitely up there. It's probably number one right now. And that port was just absolutely amazing. We got Kurt and Marshall from See Me Traveling in the house. That port was absolutely amazing. And the reason that port was amazing was because we decided to get off the ship and we did a tour with a taxi driver. No, I say taxi driver because that's what he was. He was a cab driver. He took you wherever you wanted. You'd have paid him a couple bucks. You'd have got out and did whatever. But we did a tour with a taxi driver, and it cost us 60 euros each. So we did I think it was like 4.5, almost 5 hours. But we did this tour with a local who was born and raised on the island of Corfu. He explained the history of how families pass down land and how they pass down olive trees, because olives, as everybody knows, olive oil, olives, it's a big thing over in Greece. It's one of the biggest things they export from the country. So he was explaining to us the process of everything. But while he was explaining the process of everything to us, he was talking about how he likes to feed the local economy. He likes to take people to the local mom and pop places and things like that. So we make a pit stop. He picks up some tomatoes and some feta cheese. And we end up going up the cliffside to this local mom and pop place that has been family owned for 5 generations. They got pictures on the wall showing you how they used to produce the wine back in the day, how they used to produce the olive oil and all of that. They give you a little history lesson about their family. But the cool thing is Nicholas, who was the cab driver, literally cut up the fresh tomatoes, cut up the feta cheese, doused them in olive oil gold, cut up the bread, brought it over, and sat it all on a plate and literally sat there. And you literally broke bread with the locals, right? Like I always say it in my videos, there's no better place to eat than where the locals eat. There's no better place to go than where the locals go, because they're the people that live there 24/7. They know all them hot spots. They know all them good food places. So if you go to a place where the locals go, you know you're going to have a good time. But I literally was breaking bread with the locals. I was eating with the locals. I was having conversation about the island with the locals. And it just gave you that realization that the world is different no matter where you are in life, no matter what part of the world you live in. Someone may have it better, someone else may have it worse, but it's what you make with the time you have. So being able to sit there and have that conversation at this family owned business that's been in the family for 5 generations and it's been passed down and it'll continue to be passed down for many generations to come, and to see how they still produce their own wine and they still produce their own olive oil and they still manufacture it for general public to buy, not just their own personal use. But it's nice to see that technically old money still staying with the hands of generations to come. So it was cool to be able to see that. He also showed us where they filmed the James Bond movie For Your Eyes Only. And it was just that island that no matter where you look, no matter where you turn, the views were epic, but you had that moment like, oh man, I can't believe I'm here. Like I'm literally looking at a postcard. I'm looking at something I've seen on the internet, something I can only think of ever imagining or visiting. And it was epic to be there. And that, I don't know if it was because it was the first stop in Greece we had, but that was the most epic port stop of all port stops that I've had. So Carfu grease, if you got it, I suggest you put it on your bucket list. If you don't know what Carfu grease is or even heard of Carfu grease, I suggest you check it out. And check out one of the vlogs that are going to be coming out, because I'm telling you now, it's absolutely gorgeous over there. Chuck almost lost his phone over there. I caught that on video too. But it was just great. All in all, it was a great Mediterranean cruise. It was epic. We did a couple excursions while we were over there. We did the tour in Carfu. We did the Best of Mykonos excursion. We did Santorini on our own. And I'm going to let you a little secret. If you're going to Santorini, you either need to start walking now, or you just need to come up off of a couple bucks and take the gondola all the way up to the top, because it's like an hour up if you're walking and an hour down. But it's covered in donkey dew, because Santorini is where the donkeys will take you up to the top of the mountain, where all the businesses and houses and churches and all that are. And they'll take you down the mountain. So you can either ride a donkey up, you can walk up, or you can take the gondola up. We opted to take the gondola. 2 minutes, I think it was €6 a piece, and we were up and back within no time. So that was pretty cool. But like I said, it's a lot of hills, a lot of cobblestone. So if you're not used to walking and you're going to the Mediterranean, I highly suggest putting on your walking shoes and getting out there and walk. Chuck will tell you, Mike pretty much keeps moving 24/7. I don't really stop unless you ask me to stop. And he learned that pretty quick. Now, he kept up with me. I'm not going to lie. Chuck kept up with me a lot on that first voyage. He was like pace for pace with me. We did a lot of walking. I think every night we got back, it was like 4.4 miles, 6.8 miles. It was a ton of walking. So he definitely got his exercise in for there. Riding a donkey sounds scary. It does sound scary, right? Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big guy, so I don't even know if the donkey could hold me. But I don't know if I want to ride a donkey up the side of a mountain where it's covered in donkey dew and donkey pee, and the chance the donkey falls and then I fall in all that nasty stuff. I don't even want to walk up it with all that stuff there. But people were doing it. People were riding the donkeys. People were walking up the cliffside. I just wasn't about that life. And I took the easy way out, I guess you could say. I took the gondola. But I can tell you what, it got hot. So waiting in line for the gondola ride back, it was brutal. You were standing in the sun for a good 40 minutes. And, you know, we were the only ship in port. So it's still early season over there when we were there. So for us to be the only ship and still have to wait in that long of a line, it does have its pros and cons. Now, the biggest pro is you don't have to walk up and down the mountain or ride a donkey. But the cons is by the time you get to the front of the line, you probably could have walked all the way down and rode a donkey all the way down. But in my opinion, it was worth it. I enjoyed it. I don't regret it. And then that cruise wrapped up and we flew to Barcelona. And then we met up with everybody in Barcelona. We boarded the Glory. And I can honestly tell you, don't take this wrong when I say this, right? It's not wrong. I'm not wrong for saying it either. But it's opposite. You ever heard that saying, rags to riches? Well, I went from riches to rags. So boarded the brand new Sun Princess, got off of that, flew to Barcelona, and boarded the old Carnival Glory. Now, they did a great job with the Carnival Glory's dry dock. Jennifer tries that in the house. What's going on, Jennifer? So they did an awesome job with the Carnival Glory's dry dock. They replaced balcony railings in the balconies. So they went from that old wood to the new metal look. They replaced balcony doors. They replaced carpeting in the cabins throughout the ship. They put in night lights in the cabins. So anytime your feet would hit the floor, the night light would turn on. They replaced all the table lamps within the cabin. So instead of having those weird looking table lamps, they have these nice new modern dome looking lamps. What else did they do? They turned Skybox into Heroes Tribute. They probably got the world's smallest cherry on top that I've seen. And they did some other work around the ship. So they did a good dry dock. After getting off the Sun Princess, it was kind of like, wow, this is the ship I'm on. There wasn't no big wow factor, right? So the Glory doesn't have all the bells and whistles like the Vista or the Horizon and all of that stuff, but it's a smaller ship. So it was still a great ship, still a beautiful ship. Horrible bed. Horrible bed. I had a horrible mattress. Scott sat on it, Chuck sat on it, absolutely horrible. It was the worst carnival mattress I've ever had. But that's not here nor there. USB chargers in the lamps. Yep, that's another one that they did. They had the USB chargers in the lamps. So there was a lot of things that they changed and they put on the ship and they refreshed and redid. I love them, the old school Carnival ships, because they have the fluffy, friendly seating most places around the ship. So anywhere I went, I was able to find me a nice, comfortable seat with no problem. So we boarded in Barcelona. That was a nightmare. Stood in line to get on the ship for probably 2.5 hours. That was a little bit of a nightmare. I got my hair cut in Barcelona. That was pretty epic. The guy that cut my hair, he almost got me wanting to fly to Barcelona every other month to get my hair cut. But I like my barber, JP. If you're watching this, bro, I mean no harm. You always gonna be the barber, my man. So we did that. We went to the mall in Barcelona, got some dinner, boarded the ship in Barcelona, stood in line for 2 hours. Malaga was awesome. Took everybody around there, showed them the Alcazaba, so they got to see the fortress. Valencia was amazing. Took everybody to the Cathedral de Valencia, showing everybody the Holy Grail and all of that. Everybody had a great time there. Las Palmas was awesome. It was a new port for me. I've never been there. So that was brand new. Ooh, excuse me. I am tired, y'all. I don't feel like I've rested at all. Las Palmas was awesome. It was a new port, so I've never been there. And then Bermuda. Bermuda was a new port. I've never been there either. And we did not think we were making it to Bermuda. Nobody thought we were making it to Bermuda. I don't even know if the captain thought we were making it to Bermuda, but we made it to Bermuda. We hit land, and I could tell you probably 1,000 people on that ship got off and kissed the ground, because the day before we made it to Bermuda, we had the worst day at sea I have ever experienced in all of the cruises I've been on in all of these years. So we're talking 14 to 20 foot seas. Wind was blowing probably 50 plus miles an hour. All open decks were closed. And if you can't tell, that's why I'm nasally, because the only two of us that were able to brave the storm and still go about our day like it was nothing was me and Chuck Spencer. Everyone else in the group was down and out for the count. Everyone was getting sick. Everyone was sleeping all day, taking medicine left and right. It was a rough day. And like I said, that was the worst that I've ever experienced in all my years of cruising. And it didn't bother me. It didn't bother Chuck, but everybody else was down and out for the count. I got a message later on that day. Excuse me. And they were asking, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm eating a guy's burger." It's lunchtime. I went up to Guy's Burger at lunchtime. I'm sitting there eating my burger. The whole boat's going back and forth. I'm dipping my fries in my ketchup, eating my French fries. The whole boat's going this way, that way, every which way, but a calm way. Took a nice little sea day nap on that day, and it was just like that. The next morning, it was smooth as glass. It was calm. It was collective, and here we are pulling into Bermuda. We got off. We had a good day in Bermuda. We went for a tour around Bermuda. It was $10 a person, $10 per hour per person. So we did a 4-hour tour, which turned into a 5-hour tour, and it cost $50 a piece. But it was an awesome little tour. You got to learn a little bit about the island of Bermuda, the culture, and all of that stuff. Stopped at some epic places along the way. Little interactive part. The driver took us to the world's smallest drawbridge, which is literally maybe 8 inches wide. in between a wooden bridge, and it's just wide enough for sailboat masses to fit through. But they have a ton of fish in that area, so I made a joke. I was riding up front, and he had a bag of hamburger rolls up there, and I was like, "Hey, is the next stop ham and cheese?" And he's like, "No, but we're going to use this at the next stop." So we stop, and he gets out with the bread, and he goes over and starts throwing it in the water. And next thing you know, you see hundreds of fish just hitting the surface, breaking the surface, eating all the bread that was thrown in. It was a pretty cool thing to see. That's definitely a place, man. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. If you can't catch them, you're doing something wrong. Really don't know what you're doing, but you ain't doing something right. And then we stopped for a drink, and I got this. This is made in Bermuda. It's called ginger beer, and everyone hates it except for me. I love this stuff that I had the driver stop right by the port for me to get 6 of them. I paid $18 for 6 bottles of ginger beer. That's a little ridiculous. It's a little expensive. I'm not gonna lie. That's $3 a bottle. Okay. But it is delicious. I enjoy it. It's got a good taste to it. I let my kids try it. 2 of the 3 like it. 1 doesn't like it, but she doesn't like anything. So I got that. I enjoy it. And I figured what better way than to have one than on the live when we describe it and talk about the whole trip. So it was a pretty good trip all in all. Everyone came back. I didn't toss anybody off. There was a couple times I thought I was going to kick Cameron overboard, but I didn't. Let's talk about the food on the Glory. Talk about the food on the Glory. Guys Burgers was phenomenal, as always. I never had a bad experience at Guys Burgers. Blue Iguana, fantastic. One of my favorite tacos or burritos. Absolutely loved it. The buffet, yeah, it was hit or miss. Some nights you go and the food will be all right, and some nights you go and then the hot food will be cold and the cold food will be hot. So I think they just got some things turned around and backwards. I will say that the dining room experience that we had in the beginning was better than the dining room experiences we had towards the end. But I can tell you that I absolutely fell in love with our server. She was great. She was phenomenal. And the team lead was horrible. Horrible. Worst team lead I've ever had hosting a table. Messed up everybody's orders, messed up everything every night. He never could get it right. And then he finally gave up. And all he would do he would come over to the table and he would look at me from the opposite side of the table and tell us that tomorrow they're having breakfast in the dining room or they're having C-Day brunch, but he would always wink at me. He would finish it with a wink, like, "Hey, big boy, you gonna come for breakfast tomorrow in the dining room?" And it weirded me out the one night, and I was sitting there and I'm like, what does he mean? What does he mean? Why is he winking at me? And I was getting like loud with it. And then somebody had some comment. I don't know who it was or what they said. Something along the lines of like, "Oh, he just wants you to come back to his cabin or something." And I was like, "No, thank you." And Kim had a mouthful of soda, and the mouthful of soda just went all over the table. So when I tell you that the dining room experience in the beginning was great, it was awesome. So on the Glory, there's 2 dining rooms. You have the Golden and you have the Platinum dining room. Every night for dinner, we had the Golden restaurant. But for the first 6 days of the cruise, we were down on deck 3 of the Golden. We always got a table on the lower level of the Golden, and the service was phenomenal. It was quick. The servers were great. Everything was awesome. Probably like night 6 or 7, our reservations when we would check in would always have us on the upper level of Golden. And on the upper level of the Golden restaurant, I probably, if I have to put a number on it, I'd say 100 people max dine up there. And I'm probably off by like 20%. It's probably more like 80 people. So it's really not that big up there. And there was multiple team leads. And the way it was set up was there was only 4 big tables. So in the back of the dining room, you had 4 big tables. Those 4 tables were the only 4 big tables up there. They only hold 8 people, and there was only 4 of them. So we were put in the back of that level. Not a problem. Hey, I'm okay with it. I'm in the dining room. I got a decent seat. It is what it is. I'm cool with being all the way in the back. It's not that big of an upper level of a dining room. Fine by me. The first night we sit down, we explain everything with our orders. We put our orders in, and then 20 minutes goes by, and then another guy comes and takes our orders, and we're like, we already ordered. Oh no, I have to redo it. So we redo the order, and then everyone was getting everybody else's food. So it was literally like, here's this is yours, this one, here's that one, this one, and it was just hands all over the table. The second night, a little bit better. We only ordered once, but then it took forever. The third night, same whole ordeal. Night 4, we get in, we get butter, no bread. 30 minutes go by. A couple in the group asked for bread a couple times. Still no bread. We're knocking on close to an hour. Our appetizers start rolling out. Still no bread. Finally got the bread after the appetizers. And then the entrees come out. And it's nobody ordered this. Nobody ordered that. I ordered this, but I got this. So you got to the point to where you were frustrated and you just were like, all right, man, just give it to me. I'm gonna eat it. I've already been here for an hour. I'm just gonna eat what you give me, and I'm gonna get up out of here. Then we started talking with the one server, and we kind of figured it out on how it would operate. When we got her, she was phenomenal. Everything was great. She deserves to be a team lead. We all have agreed that when the surveys come out, we're definitely putting her name in the surveys. She absolutely deserves a promotion. She worked her tail off. The one night we sat there and we put our orders in, she's the only one out there working. The other 2 we did not see for like at least an hour. At least an hour. That was the night we didn't get bread until after the appetizers. So I don't know if you've ever been on the Carnival Cruise Lines. The way they do it, or the way other cruise lines do it, is you have 3 people at your table. You have the team lead, then you have the waiter, and then the one under the waiter, like the assistant waiter. The only person we saw was the assistant waiter for over an hour. The other 2 guys were nowhere to be found, and she was the only one out there working like 7 or 8 tables. And she was just banging them out. So by the end of the cruise, I was like, all right, man, I'm really not wanting to do MDR anymore. So I my last meal was a guy's burger at like 3:30 in the afternoon. Everybody wanted to do the MDR because it was our last night together. Excuse me. So we go do the MDR, and they finally get everything right. Drinks, everything right. Everything's perfect. Everything is the way it should be. It was literally the best night. Drinks were there. They remembered all the drinks. They remembered everybody's name. All the orders were right when you first put them in. No issues. And I'm like, I ate a guy's burger. This would have been the greatest dining room experience of the whole trip. But I ate a guy's burger. So all I got was a soup and dessert because they had minestrone soup and I wanted that. And then I got a dessert. So all in all, it wasn't bad. Take the good with the bad. That's what I always say. I don't let it get to me too much. I'll vent about it. I'll talk about it. I'll bring it up because I'm telling you now, it's not good when you're sitting in a dining room for 3 hours and you haven't gotten your bread yet. It wasn't that crazy, but I mean, come on. If you're going to put butter in front of somebody, the next thing would be the bread, or at least the bread and then the butter, not just butter and then nothing for an hour. We had skinny people with us. They were starving. At least I got something that I can survive off of for a couple hours. I got some meat over here. But the skinny people that were with us, they were withering away to nothing. Ginger beer. If you're in Bermuda, you should definitely try this ginger beer. So all of that was good. Yesterday we did the Dr. Seuss at Sea thing 1, thing 2 birthday breakfast. That was good. I almost got sick. Other than that, that whole experience was pretty cool. One of the people we were traveling with yesterday was her birthday, so it was cool to be able to do that on her birthday. But stay away from that funky color parfait they got. It's blue and red with chunks of jello and then nuts and all. Stay away from that. I'm a textures guy, and that texture was just not at all there. I literally almost chucked it all into the table and would have got it all over everybody. I wouldn't have felt bad. I'm lying. I probably would have felt bad. But I'd stay away from that at all costs if I was you. And then this morning, we got off, and I am here. That's the quick little recap, right? So there's going to be a lot of vlogs that are going to come out over the next few weeks. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got that notification bell on so you get all those notifications. I'll always do my best to post on Instagram or Facebook when I am putting out a new video. Same with TikTok and all that fun stuff. I got a bunch of short form content that's going to be coming out along with long form content. But it was an awesome trip. Everybody had a good time. Everybody had a blast. What else can I say about it? I don't know. I got a fridge full of cheese. You want to see the cheese I brought back? I'll show you the cheese I brought back. I brought back individual cheeses for your snacky snacks. So whenever you just want some cheese, you can just get a little bit of cheese. And then I brought back some wedges of cheese. Now, I did get stopped at customs getting off the ship because of said cheese. And it's funny because when I got off the Vista, I went and talked to a customs agent about being able to bring back cheese. And the same customs agent that I went and seen on the Vista was the same customs agent that went through my bag. And I was like, man, you're the one I talked to. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Yep, I told you could bring cheeses, but no meats. And I was like, yep, that was me. I came back with cheese, man. And I came back with pasta too. I bought some pasta because I want to make some cacio e pepe. And I also want to make some good carbonara. So I brought back some real good, authentic Italian pasta. And I brought back that great milky goodness, hard Parmigiano Reggiano and Pecorino Romano cheeses for all of my pasta needs. I really don't need a reason to eat cheese, I guess. I don't need pasta to eat it. I'll literally just break it off and eat it. Excuse me. So, but that rough day really it put me under with my sinuses. So the wind was blowing real hard. It was really windy. I was up there trying to get some shorts of like the storm rolling in and the wind and the waves, because I can tell you right now, people love that on YouTube. You add it to that Viking song and people eat it up. And I'm telling you right now, I got some shorts to put out there of rough seas and rough wind and all that stuff. So I'm definitely going to post that stuff. I'm going to start editing everything tomorrow. I wanted to edit on the ship and I never did. Like I said, I lived in the moment. I don't know when the next time I'll be over in Europe like that will ever be. I don't know if there will ever be a next time. So I wanted to make sure while I was there, I enjoyed it. I lived in the moment, and I just immersed myself within the culture and all of that good stuff. So being able to break bread with the locals and just sit there and reflect on life and reflect on what everything has come to this point in my life, to be able to do what I do. it was an awesome experience. And I get to do that because of y'all. So thank you very much for all of your love and support. I appreciate each and every one of you. But it was an awesome experience. I can't wait to do it again. And yeah, man, it was great. It was great being able to hang out with everybody and joke and laugh and have a good time. It was definitely great. So some definite lifelong friendships come out of cruising. So if you're not part of the cruising community, man, definitely do get in them cruising spaces because lifelong friendships come out of it. And like Deb said, where is everybody? Remember to hit the thumbs up. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Why are you not hitting the thumbs up yet? There, it says I got 19 watching, so there should be at least 19 thumbs ups. 20 watching, so there should be at least 20. Let's see, how many do we got? We got 19. 19 watching, 19 thumbs up. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But it was all in all, it was a great trip. I'll show you the cheese. I'll do it. I'll get up. I'll get the cheese. I'll show you the cheese. So I got 2 Parmesan Reggianos, and this one here was 15 euros just for this wedge here, but it was made within the city limits of the town we were in, so it's a locally made cheese. They vacuum sealed them for me, which was great because the custom guy was like, "Hey, if it's vacuum sealed, it'll get through so much easier than not being vacuum sealed." And they cut it off the wedge right in front of you, and they're like wrapping it in saran wrap. And I'm like, "Hey, you speak English?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, can you vacuum seal?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, sure, no problem, no problem." And then I got the Pecorino Romano. Ah, it just smells so good. And I got 2 of these. So I got 3 Parmesans and 2 of these. I got a total of 5 hunks of Parmesan cheese of ooey gooey goodness that are in my fridge. I didn't drink that much water on the Carnival cruise because I needed to have the space in the fridge for all my cheese. So I definitely brought back the cheese. Good night, Kurt. I'll see y'all in the morning. Kurt and Marsha, I hope y'all have a fantastic night tonight. So I definitely made sure I had room for my cheese. Now, I will tell you this. I repeat, I did not get popped for heavy luggage, heavy carry-ons, or anything this whole trip. So I consider that a win when my carry-on bag was twice what it should have been. I'm just saying. Y'all, them level 8 suitcases, they're official. They hold a lot and they look very slim, very discreet. And they hold a lot. And my bag was almost 40 pounds with all that cheese and flying out of Rome on Vueling. Had no issues. Flying on tap, I had no issues. So if y'all are looking for a good carry-on bag, there's an Amazon link in the description. Grab that level 8 bag. That's my favorite. I absolutely love that bag. So I'll be getting me a level 8 suitcase here soon. Before I die, I like to buy an entire cheese wheel just once. I'm not going to lie. I would like to buy an entire cheese wheel just once too. And I would like to take that cheese wheel and just boil up some linguine or some spaghetti and just drop it on there and mix it like you see them doing. Oh, all that super duper cheesy pasta. I'm all about it. I am all about it. Now, some of the best food I ate was obviously in Greece. I don't do olives. I tried them. I don't like them. And I didn't try it just once. I tried it twice, and I still don't like it. So olives are a no-go for me. The tomatoes over there were fresh. The feta cheese, if you're a feta cheese person, you know what I'm talking about when I said it was so sour. It was so sour, but it's like that sour, good sour. Feta cheese was phenomenal. Tomatoes were phenomenal. The bread was great. The olive oil was great. I bought some olive oil and had it shipped back home. That arrived here before I did. I bought some baklava, had that shipped back home. What else? What else? What else? Of course, I got my magnet. I got rosaries blessed by the Pope. So that was cool. Brought back some holy water from the Holy Land over there. Got the kids their things. My daughter got a ton of spoons. Just the same old souvenirs you always look out for when you go and travel. I got a bunch of stickers, but I got nowhere to put them anymore. My computer is completely covered in stickers. Let's see. Let's see if I can lift it up and you can see it. Just do this. I'm literally covered in stickers on my laptop. So there is literally no more room for stickers on the Mac, on the MacBook. So now I gotta just buy another MacBook, so I got a place to put stickers. But it was a great trip. Everybody had a good time. We all had a blast. I can't wait to do it again. And I wish all y'all could have been there with me. And I should have went live more often. I should have did a few more things, but I didn't. I apologize. But I was living in the moment, y'all. I do not regret living in the moment. Well, we got 10 minutes, 8 minutes. So if you got some questions, fire them out there. I'll shoot them answers out quick. Because right now I don't know what else to talk about. I don't want to show souvenirs because I think I want to do that next week. I want to show off the magnets on next week's live and talk about some of the souvenirs I got and why. I know we're still there. It still says I got 17 people. Nobody's got no questions. No weird questions. I know Chuck's got some weird questions. Same with Scott. But that was it, man. That was it. It was a great trip. A lot of food, a lot of good food. A lot of good food. A lot of good laughs. I don't like grappa. Found that out too. Really, really don't know what else to. Have I ever tipped the lifeguards? No. I never tipped the lifeguards. I've never thought about tipping the lifeguards, to be honest. Did you end up in the piano bar? I did. I ended up in the piano bar. Not as often as I would have liked, but I did end up in the piano bar. Next cruise, Will G, currently is the Utopia of the Seas. Inaugural sailing on the Utopia of the Seas in July. I'm doing a back-to-back on the Utopia of the Seas with my buddy over there in Bali, Loca, Tony B. That's as of right now. That could always change, though. I am looking to get on the Margaritaville at Sea in June, so the Islander. But as of right now, Utopia of the Seas is the next sailing. And then after Utopia, I believe I got the Magic in October. It's been a wild ride, man. It's crazy to think. I figured it out today. I'm 88 days away from Diamond on Carnival. So I only need 88 more days with Carnival to hit that diamond status and be fully at the top tier with Carnival. And I only started sailing Carnival in 2021. So that's pretty cool to see, like, in a few short years, I'm literally already more than 50% of the way to Diamond with Carnival. So that's pretty cool. I can't tell you, ask me which one I liked better because we all know Princess hands down would outweigh that one. Both casinos sucked. They were horrible, both of them. Not a single one was good. Currently, yes, Will G, I am booked on the World America inaugural. Currently, Scott says I need 92. Listen, I'm counting. I've never been a person that would hop brand to brand, right? Like I've always been that loyal person, but that's always because when I was a kid, we would always go on Princess. That was the cruise line we always went on. But now I literally like any cruise line. Like, all right, who's got a good deal? Let's hop on it. It could be Virgin, it could be NCL, it could be Margaritaville, it could be Carnival, it could be Princess, it could be Holland. It could be Cunard. If it's a good deal, I'm willing to hop on it. But back in the day, I used to be loyal to one brand. I'm not loyal to any brand anymore. I know what I'm loyal to. I'm loyal to the next cruise. That's what I'm loyal to. See you there. I'll see you all there. If you're booked on that inaugural sailing, I will be there, World America. And so as of right now, there are some things that could change that. But as of right now, I am onto that. Loyal to cruising. That's right, Blaine. Loyal to cruising. Will you sail on the Carnival Firenze soon? So I was actually talking about that today. I don't know if I'll get on it soon. I would have liked to get on it this month, but April, I banged out the month of April with so much that it just wouldn't have been possible. But within the next year, I'll absolutely be on that ship, and I want to get on both the fun Italian ships, but I kind of want to do them relatively close to each other. So do the one out of New York or out of Port Canaveral because it'll be in Port Canaveral later on this year, and then go over to Cali and do the one out of California. But it'll definitely happen. It'll definitely happen. They're on the list of the ships to hit. Right now, the main ships are Utopia. That'll be my first Royal cruise, and then the Margaritaville Islander at sea, because I know that's going to be a hot commodity, right? Like that's coming to Tampa. It's a Spirit class ship, and there's so many people that like that Spirit class style of a ship. So with it coming to Tampa and it being a Spirit class ship, I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Yep, I want to be there. I want to get on that cruise." And it goes to Key West and Cozumel and Progresso and all that. So it's not a bad itinerary depending on which one you pick. I personally have never been to Progresso, but I've heard so many horror stories about Progresso that I don't even want to go to Progresso. But I definitely want to go to Cozumel and Key West, that's for sure. And to be able to do that right in my backyard for relatively inexpensive, I think that's the next ticket item before Utopia in July. And then that's where we're at. Like I haven't got any further than that. You can always see what I'm on next if you go to the nauticruiser.com. There's a section under the website that says where to next, and it shows all my upcoming cruises as well as everything else. I use that website mainly for travel and promotion of the channel and promotion of the travel agency business that I operate, because I don't like doing that plug, right? Like I don't want to be like, oh, I'm a travel advisor, I'm a travel agent, come check me out. If you look in the description, you'll see a little bit of information there, and the website will also give you a little bit more information over there. But that's it, y'all. It's Thursday. It's another Thursday Night Live. I am officially back in the States. I will be live again next Thursday, but keep them eyes peeled and keep them notification buttons, bells pushed, whistles blown, whatever you want to call it, because there will be a video coming out very, very soon of one of these epic adventures I was just on. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I am signing off, and I'm going to sleep because I am tired. I'll see y'all next week. Until next time, y'all already know what to do. Y'all stay naughty. Peace.